Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. Welcome to our monthly critique.
Hey.
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 How's everybody doing?
Good.
We're fantastic.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Yes.
Right. We haven't been swindled, so that's important.
Oh, I would never. Simply never.
So I've got to admit something.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no.
It's bad. It's bad. I'm watching this show, this documentary, and I am fully doing the bad thing. I am fully blaming the victim. I am like, how can she allow this?
Oh yeah.
And I realize that I'm doing this. And I realize like that is so fucked up on my part. And I can't get over certain things. Like one, I found easier to understand one person's reasoning to do what she did.
Yeah.
And the other one, I found it like, girl, why? And
Right.
again, it is, she was a victim. And so the victim blaming was it was hard
not
to separate that thought of victim blaming. So, does anybody want to explain the story? Or have more to do?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go through it all, I guess, but so we're covering Tinder Swindler, obviously. And so for me, like, mind you, as I'm watching Tinder Swindler, I'm swiping on Tinder and I'm like, this is a fucking nightmare. This is a fucking nightmare. But I'm like, I can understand that first lady and the love bombing and like really being like, you know, into every little thing that he's saying, because it's so easy, especially when like you're like desperately want that, you know. She just is like, you know, they set her up in a way that the first lady, her name is Cecilia.
Mm-hmm.
They set her up in a way that is very easy to relate to, you know, with the Beauty and the Beast and the fairy tale like love that she's looking for. And you're like, sure, right? Like that's what we're like conditioned to go for. Go ahead.
Here, when I first started watching, it was Cecilia, or whatever her name is. I was like, you know, you're looking for a specific type of man, like, to take care of you. Where's that drawing the line from? I'm a gold digger. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, but I don't think that was initially
was.
her. Like the money was like what she was initially looking for. It didn't seem like. I mean, she was like blown away by it, and I definitely like if somebody was like, I was like, my friends would fucking kill me if I was texting them being like, I just went on a first date with a guy and I'm getting on a plane to go to another country. Like I was like, girl, like what are you doing? Also,
it's you, and you have been known to do things like
this.
Like,
I could totally like see myself being like, I mean, I have a passport. Like,
I honestly, Dana, I can definitely see you hopping on a private jet and leaving.
Yeah. But moving in money in that way, like when they're talking about, and we'll get into the amounts and shit, I guess, but like when the amount of money that they're talking about lending someone that you've known for a couple of weeks, or lending someone, I mean, if you, my friends for a decade, were like, my enemies are after me. I mean, like, I could see maybe lending you the amount of money for your mortgage payment so you didn't get evicted, or like, you know, something like, or helping with like hospital bills or something like that. But like, you're talking about taking personal loans out for massive amounts of money. I wouldn't do that for my siblings. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't do that for anyone. And it's just crazy to me, like the amount of money that they were moving in.
So my father has a saying, and it's in Spanish, and Nidia, I'm sure, has heard this saying. Es mejor presto la mujer que un carro o dinero. And basically in English, it translates, I'd rather lend out my woman than my car or money, or basically pay somebody's shit off.
Yeah.
And you know what? And of course, you know, you're not going to lend out your woman. That's not happening.
Right.
So the other shit is a fuck no.
The hell no.
That being said, and Nidia always gets on me for saying that. So
it's your crutch word. It's fine.
It's
now I hear it everywhere. I hear it every day on every random show. I have not heard it since.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. So in saying that, I have lent out money to people. I also know the person I'm lending it to. If I'm lending it to them, in some cases, I am like, if I don't get this back, it's not going to hurt me.
Right.
But
we're talking about like reasonable amounts of reasonable amounts of money. Right.
Absolutely. I'm not going to put myself out there for anyone in that situation.
I feel like Nidia has like, she's like something and bottled up, and she's just like, I'm not gonna say what I want to say.
Oh no, I don't like Zoom. I don't like the platform, because every time like you're talking, like somebody starts talking and they're talking over and over and over, and it just like it makes me want to choose violence, to be honest with you. So I'm just letting everybody talk, but we're getting all over the place. But I'm gonna let you run with it.
No, go for it.
Nothing.
Who wants to sort of walk through it? Like what happened?
Cindy should walk through it, and I just took notes.
Okay. Because I did notes, and I think it starts out with Cecile talking about being on Tinder, going left, going right, whatever, matching with someone, and then as soon as you match, you start Googling them, because yes, you have to Google and make sure they're a legit human. And you know, her looking for love, Beauty and the Beast, all that, you know, it's a fairy tale. Duh. Remember, that's a fairy tale. So, but of course, she did not focus on the fact that it's a fairy tale. So when she found Simon and matched with Simon, she's like, oh, I found my prince. And yes.
You know what? When I first started watching that, I was very, very sad. I can't relate to a woman who looks for a man to save them. And that whole princess narrative has like that very much vibe for me, looking for a man to save them. And all of them were gainfully employed, the women that he was going after, and they really didn't need him. And he kind of represented I get a prince kind of thing. And I don't know how I felt about that, you know, until the end. And I was like, maybe I was wrong, you know, but it just gives me a whole bad vibe. And I wrote in my notes, when gold digging goes wrong, which was me.
I didn't really like feel like she was like after his money or any of them really. Like, I mean, like, I think that maybe it was a perk for her, but it sounded like she dates tons of people that like have varying degrees of, you know, wealth or not wealth, or just regular people. I just didn't seem like her MO was necessarily to like find a rich guy to like take care of her. I just didn't read that way on me.
It was the whole princess conversation, like the whole, you know, princess thing. Not necessarily what she was doing, but yeah.
Okay. And that's kind of how it felt. It felt very, she tried to definitely not come across as a gold digger.
Yeah.
To me. But if that happens, if they have money, they have money, that's a plus. It's one less thing you have to worry about in a relationship as far as finances.
I'm very prejudiced against rich people, though. I'll admit it. I really am. I am.
Okay.
I have issues with that as well.
Also, she was like very, very quick to hop on this guy's jet. Like,
Right.
she met him that night and she was ready to go. And even her friends, like that one text message, her friend that said, "This doesn't sound safe." I'm like,
this is dangerous.
did I text her that? I was like, every text that I send to Dana, every text is like, that doesn't sound safe.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
so I'm sorry, that was so funny to me because I was laughing. Like, I was just thinking, like, if that was me texting you guys that, because we're all in various stages of relationships, right? Like, I'm single, you're married, you're dating, like a long-term dating with your partner. And so it's like I felt like I was texting, if I was texting you guys like, I just met someone, I wouldn't tell you. Like, if I knew that I was about to do some stupid shit that you guys were gonna yell at me, I wouldn't tell you. I wouldn't tell you, like, if I was gonna follow a girl into the woods that I just met. Like, I definitely would be like, nah, I won't tell them that.
We need to put a bell on Dana. She must be tracked at all times.
I should get someone my location at some point.
We need to get her one of those what are those Apple tracker things and just put it into her phone and we just track her locations. I mean,
oh my God,
it's
not even, because you know how sometimes she shuts her phone off? We need to make her swallow it.
just inject it underneath her wrist into her skin.
She must have trusted it because she told her friend, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but okay, she gets on the flight with this girl, right? And there's a shit ton of people, which is also kind of like reassuring, I guess, like, in a sense, like,
yeah, but it could have been like a whole sex trade thing. Like, I wrote, she's real quick to jet set with this guy, sex trade ready. She was ready to go for the sex trade.
Yeah,
I've got to say that part, the willingness to jump on a private jet, felt very accepting to be a gold digger. That was that moment. And I think that's what that's the Nydia vibe that you're getting. I the feeling of just like, oh, he's got a private jet and he wants to take me to a date in what country did they go to? Norway? I don't know.
No.
Whatever it was, they left to another country.
Switzerland, maybe something like that.
Yeah. And she was like, yes, I'll go, and it felt like that was a gold digger moment. And
see, like, sorry. No, that feels a little too scary to me. Like I will maybe follow people or go to restaurants or maybe like go, wherever, like go on dates to places, but like to get on a plane with somebody and just go to another country, you're just like, yeah, I don't think that's a very good idea at all. Like, this is not a good idea.
I'll put it into context for you. When I was, and I've told this story before, when I was a very young girl, 24, 23, around there, I used to work at a casino. I was a cocktail waitress, and a very wealthy man offered me $10,000 to have breakfast with him. I'm assuming it was breakfast, quote unquote breakfast. Yeah. But it was $10,000 and I was hella broke and I had a little 2-year-old at home. So I could have used that money. And I was like, pass. I just didn't want to put myself in that. And he had a whole team of people. That's just not my vibe. If I was out there looking for somebody to solve my problems, then maybe I would have done it,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Another thing that got to me though, is that, he tells her, like, that he's the Prince of Diamonds, and I was just like, corny.
Yeah.
So corny.
The other thing that happened when she gets on this flight is that his baby mama and his daughter are on the flight. Baby mama and daughter. Like, I think we still, like, at the end of the documentary is still like ambiguous whether that was his actual child, right?
No, they definitely say it is.
It is.
Yeah,
definitely.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was just like, so the conversation with the baby mama where she's like, oh, she put my mind at ease when she said, oh, we're not, even though we're not together, he still takes care of us. I'm like, yeah. That's
like,
that's basic. That's like
Bars on the floor, bitch.
The men, babe.
Yeah.
So they spend the night together out. Oh, I got it in my notes. In Bulgaria, he sends her back. He's like, "I'm done with you tonight. Go back home." And she's like,
I'm so
"Okay,
busy.
I'm so busy." So he ends up texting her, just that love bombing that you were saying, Dana. And then all of a sudden, he's in jail in South Africa or something. He says, she asked him about his scars on his back.
Right.
And supposedly he got them in jail in South Africa for being Jewish and all of this other shit.
So romantical.
Yes.
I mean,
it was
that's even like red flag number one in that, like, if your man, I mean, like, is bare mins of like knowledge of diamonds. If your man was in South Africa as a diamonds trader and ended up in jail, some ill ass shit went on.
Yeah.
Some ill shit went on.
Yeah. That's so
bro.
funny. That's so funny. It's so funny because been in that same situation where you're like in bed with somebody and they're like, and you're like, what are these scars? And they're like stretch marks.
That's baby in Nydia's baby 1 and baby 2 right here.
It's never fucking the dude was jailed in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Never that.
So I think they start texting for like a month. They're like going back and forth. He's having her visit him at different locations. They're meeting up occasionally. He asked her to be his girlfriend. And she's like, oh, yes, goodness, yes. And then eventually, he starts talking about he has certain threats going on and he's being threatened. He tells her, start looking for a place that's $15,000 a month.
Christ almighty.
Wait a minute. First of all, if a dude that I met on Tinder tells me, which I've never been on Tinder, but if a dude that I'm like casually dating, or even if he's my boyfriend, if he tells me he's in danger, I'm like, hey, bye, because I don't want to be in danger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and he's friends with Putin. Like, fuck that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, did she know that yet? Like,
yeah, she knew that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, she knew that.
Because I was like, I don't like that.
No, also he was still on Tinder. Like,
right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he was definitely still on Tinder when he met Pernelia.
Right.
Out in
Pernilla.
Oh, Pernilla, yeah. Sorry. Yes.
She made much more sense to me. She made much more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not me.
That one made more sense because the things that she did made more sense, and the reasons why she
didn't need him to support her. She was just having fun with him. They were friends. You know what I mean? They were just hanging out.
That's why it sort of made less sense to me in that, like, I mean, if I needed money, like genuinely, like if I was going to get evicted from my house or, you know, whatever, I don't think I would ask you, my friend, for money. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you'd be very low on the fucking list of people that I would, you know, like, of course I would like ask my family or like try to get a loan or take money out of my pension or something. I don't know, whatever. I don't have a pension, but I'm just saying, like,
right.
So it would be like, to me, if my friend asked me for $30,000, I would not do that. I just that's so much money.
Mm-hmm. But Dana, if it was like a friendship where you were both on the same economic scale, like you were both, you know, living the lifestyle, and like you got into some hardship that you knew you were going to get out of, and you know that I'm able to loan you that money and it not hurt me.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess maybe that's part of, I'm sorry, I'll let you go.
No, go ahead.
I guess part of the problem for me is like the amounts of money, like I don't move on that level. So it's like $30,000 to me is money that would take me a decade to pay back. You know what I mean? At least. So like that is like, I just don't move on. So it's hard for me to sort of understand, like grasp that kind of concept.
My thinking was more so she just spent an entire summer with her. and him and his girlfriend, and he probably easily spent $30,000 on that whole month.
Right.
She probably could have easily spent 10, 15 grand on that trip that they were, all those trips that they were doing and fun. So in a sense, in a way, it's kind of like payback, but not really. Yes.
But, and when you're on that level where you're spending $20,000-$30,000 a day, like that's like $20 to you and me. If you, Dana, if you were like, hey, spot me $20, I want to pay for, you know, I want to pay for this delivery or whatever, I would just give it to you. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, you know. So we're trading on that level, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm. But that girl in particular, what's her name? Pernilla. Like, she was living with her mom to save money to get an apartment for themselves. Like, so like it, whether she was like on that level or not, like she wasn't really on his level, you know. Like, it didn't seem that way. Like, she gave him every nickel she had saved up. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
But she was giving everybody the impression that she lived this lifestyle. So if you remember the part where she's throwing pennies into the thing and she's like, my luck could change or should turn around. Like, I could use the turnaround in my luck. So maybe she was just down on her luck for a while, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
In the meantime, while he's partying it up with Pernilla and his Russian girlfriend, he's actually getting all this money from Cecilia. Right. And Cecilia's like taking out American Express cards, personal loans, assisting him in a way because he's like, these people are chasing me. And I get it. People are chasing you. You're a billionaire, ask daddy for money. You know, why are you asking her? Right. That was the difference. And I think that excuse was the difference between the excuse that he gave her versus the excuse that he gave Pernilla, which when we get to that point, he used the excuse that their banks have been locked down and he can't get the money. Right. And I think that was the difference where I was like, he's not telling Cecilia that he has no access to the money. He's just being chased and he's being attacked, and he has to move quietly. So I was like, why are you giving this man money? It's not like he said that he has no access to his money. He's just saying that he's being chased.
But he was telling her that he couldn't use his money because they were chasing his credit cards. So he couldn't, like, that's why she needed to bring him $25,000 in cash. So that, which is like psychotic, you know, just totally crazy.
Also, daddy can take him $25,000 in cash.
That's what I'm like, ask your fucking diamond father. Like, what are you saying?
Get rid of one of your diamonds or one of your watches, like you said. Like, I mean, I didn't get that.
This is why to me it was gold digging. It was her guarantee almost to say, hey, I'm on your team. I'm going to bail you out of this one so that I can prove that I'm wife worthy. You know what I'm saying? And it was almost like, if you look at the comments that people, you know, made on about it, people were saying that they were making an investment in their future. These women, they were like, I'm helping him out, showing him that I can be a stand-up gal, that I'm not, you know, and that maybe it'll pay off in the long run, but it didn't pay off for them. You know, and listen, it's neither here nor there. Like, I get it. At least for Pernilla, I get it. For the other girl, I'm like, damn, like I'm on the Cindy boat. I'm like, damn, you couldn't ask your dad? Like, you don't know any other person but me? Like, boy, I am not a tap that you can just freaking, you know, an endless money tap. That's just not, you know.
And it just felt excessive. It felt excessive. And that was the issue that I had with it. And that's why I had to pull myself back from attacking the victim. And towards a certain level, I was having a problem, you know, differentiating differentiating the difference between a victim and somebody choosing this action and allowing to be used. And I want to so hard, and I don't want to feel this way towards her.
Just a couple points. I love that Pernilla said that there are battery chargers and battery drainers. I was like, yes, queen.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
in the massage world, we call them energy vampires. Like
Yeah.
sometimes someone will land on your table and they don't have to say anything to you, and you'll give them a massage and you just feel so fucking drained after, and you're just like, oh my God, like they took everything from you. And it's like, yeah, it's like an energy vampire. It's so true.
Wow. Yeah, so she, like Cindy said, with the it's so excessive, the spending was so excessive. The flying out for a cup of coffee and then flying back seemed so very wasteful.
Yeah, that's crazy. And he was like doing things like you see when he's with Pernilla and the Russian girlfriend, where he's like buying $2,000 just to get into a table and spending thousands of dollars on champagne, and she's like, oh, I would have paid for that, and he's not even letting anyone else like spend money on the tab. And it's like, if he would have been like a little bit more smart with the money, this could have lasted him forever,
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And
but to be so extreme and so extravagant is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the other thing is how many people are involved? How many people are involved with this?
That's the question.
How many people are involved with this? The part where he's telling Cecile, you need to increase your money. You need to increase your credit card spending. And she is like, I don't earn that much. And he makes her an employee of the so-called LLC of the diamond, whatever company, whatever the diamond company. And so it looks like she's making a ton of money. And so she gets approved. And I am like, what the hell?
Not only the fact of that, but like, it's surprising that she wasn't charged like with defrauding like those companies, because she lied and said she was part of that company. She lied to get her card balances increased. She lied and said it was her on these trips. Like, all of that seems felony behavior,
First of all, if a dude calls me asking me for money, I'm like, new phone, who dis? That's step one, right? Also, how is he funding this lifestyle? Because how many girlfriends do you need to fly a private jet back and forth? And the clothes that he was wearing, and he's just freaking throwing money around like it's nothing, right? And then he tells her it's all under control. When have those words come out of a man's mouth and that has ever been true?
I mean, when have they ever come out of anyone's mouth and they're true? Anytime I've said it, it has not, in fact, been under control at all. Like, this is fine. Everything's fine. My therapist is like,
all under control, babe. I got it all under control.
It is.
Meanwhile, the full fire and flames behind you.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's on fire. And that's what basically everything was on fire there.
Yeah.
And Cecilia's like, this is insane. And
also he's being mean to her.
Right. So like, when she starts to figure out, he's not, I guess, are you up to that? I don't want to jump ahead.
Go ahead. No, keep going.
So he's like, oh, I'll give you a check. Come get this check. Mm-hmm. And so she goes to she flies out to get this check. And he's being nasty to her, like you said. And she's got to be like sort of onto it at this point that like something is wrong, but she still doesn't seem to be. She goes home, she tries to cash a check, nothing. And he's like, well, I did my part. I don't know what to tell you. Bitch! Like, what the fuck? Like, that part of it really like was like, you don't get to have a fucking attitude. Like, you're defrauding me, motherfucker. Like, you don't get to be. And then when she blocks him, he's like, I don't know why you blocked me. I don't know what's happening here. And you're like, bro, what are you doing? Like, she knows what you did. Let it fucking die. And,
she let him a total of like $250,000.
Disgusting amount of money.
Like, I would lend my husband $250,000.
That's an unsurvivable amount of money to lend some, to get beat out of. Like,
in 2 months.
Yeah, and
in 2 months. In 2 months.
So when she's home, she flies home to Oslo to be with her mom because she's devastated. And she's like, I just wanted to drive my car into the other lane of the car and, kill myself in a Mack truck. And you're just like, I could see the thought process behind that because holy shit.
That part I wrote, didn't she consider the truck driver's life?
I thought that too.
Like,
I thought that
how
too.
selfish are you, bitch? Like, how selfish?
Drive off a bridge if you're gonna do it, I guess.
Yeah,
But
like,
I just like, but like she must have been so fucking devastated because you're just like, there's got to be so much behind that in like, I guess she thought she loved this person, which like whatever, that's on her, between them and the relationship, whatever. But then to be like, I'm so fucking stupid that I gave him all this money, because anybody looking in is like, what? In 2 months you gave him that much money? That's crazy. Like, so, and then like feel dumb, to feel like the love that you thought you had for this person was not true. All of that to be fit. I can totally understand where she's like, I checked myself into an institution. I'm like, that was probably a very good idea.
Yeah, but she was still talking to him in there.
Was she?
Uh-huh.
Did I missed that? Oh my god. Because I know he was still like fucking with her. Like he called her mom's house and was saying like, it'll be the biggest mistake you ever make. Like, let it die, bro. Like, you just fucking got 250K out of her. Let it die.
Yeah.
And I thought it was smart. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
He's smart too, because the check he gave her was for way more money than she owed him, to appease her, to get out of his face. Like, he's very, 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 very fucking smart.
That's very Nigerian prince. And you know how the Nigerian prince gives you money.
Yeah. So something that happens when you're like online dating, right? There's many tells that it's a catfish, and one of them, like one that wants to get you for your money, not like a catfish where it's like a pretty person and then it's really like a Bowser on the other end, but like a catfish in like the way that they want to get your money is that they say that they're in the army. I'm in the military and I'm stationed abroad. And you're like, shut up. Like, shut up. I get it, like at least once a week. Every couple of days, I'll get somebody that's like, what do you do for a living? And you're like, I'm a massage therapist. What do you do for a living? And they're like, I'm in the military and I'm stationed abroad. Is that okay? They're always stationed in some like insane place. And you're just like, I just stop talking to them usually. But
then what's the point?
Because then they'll be like, they'll set just like what this guy is doing. They'll be like, oh, my credit cards are fucked up. Can you send me?
Yeah, but we haven't fucked. We haven't gone out. Like, what the like?
This happened to my mom. This happened to my mom. She was talking to this guy who was from Oslo, actually, but he lived in the States. He lived in New York State. And my mom was talking to him for a couple of weeks. He was really sweet, really nice. He had all these pictures of like fancy cars and all this shit, And my mom's talking to him, texting him. I guess she talks to him on the phone a few times or whatever. And he's like, oh, I have to go to London because he's like works for some contracting company. And he goes to London. And then when he's calling her from a London phone number, like the area code changes because I guess like Google or however that this guy is getting these numbers generates a phone number from London. So now the area code is from London. He's calling my mom, talking to her. And then he's like, oh my God, something happened with my business. I need $10,000 right out of the gate. I need $10,000. My mom was like, bitch, I don't fucking $10,000. I'm not giving you $10,000. Thank God. But she was so upset because she was like, I really liked him. Like, he was really nice to me. And, my mom just like, anybody that's nice to me too. Like, it's truly where I get it from. Like, someone shows you the littlest bit of attention, you're just like, oh my God. But she was really upset. And like, initially somebody had told my mom, like, I think this guy's a scammer. And I was like, Mom, you should really like give people a chance. Like, I was like, I'm never fucking listening to you again. I'm like, you definitely don't. I'm a fucking idiot. Don't you ever listen to me? Sorry about that one.
But basically, that's basically what happened
Yeah.
with this one. He was using other people's money to show her
Right.
to show,
Right.
oh, I am this rich and I got it covered if you need it.
And it's all part of his scam. Yeah.
So, okay, so Cecilia's tapped out.
Right.
He goes to Pernilla and asks her for the first 30 grand. And she's like, yeah, no, I don't have that kind of money. I have money saved up for a house I want to buy. But then she goes and sends it to him. And the reason he gives her is basically there's a smuggling case. They froze everyone's funding, everyone's money. And he doesn't have access to anything and asks her for $30,000 just to move things along. And she sends it to him. And I am like, what the hell?
I wrote, Pernilla, no!
Because she came across as smarty. He was smart enough to recognize she's gonna be a longer con.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. She's not gonna fall for she's not a love bombing type of person like Cecilia is. This one's not gonna fall for that.
She wasn't interested in him romantically. He was too short for her.
That was the interesting thing to me about her is that, like, you know, they initially had went on a first date and I guess they like kissed at the end of the night and she's like, it wasn't there. And I was actually very surprised that he continued to pursue her because that seems like a more difficult con to me than to romantically try to con someone and get them to give you money. That seems like a much harder sell to get someone you're not fucking to give you money.
But she liked a certain lifestyle, and I think that to convince other people that he was really legit in that lifestyle, you have to surround yourself with people that are legitimately in that lifestyle. And you know what I mean? To add credibility to yourself, I think, because he was with that model and he was also hanging out with her, you know what I mean? And I'm sure he was scamming like a bunch of other people using Pernilla as like a credibility check, you know?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
It was just insane to me how you know how many people he was surrounded by. And and the photos of the security guard that he kept sending everywhere. Peter's photo, the same photo, same everything of him getting hurt to justify why he needs this money, that he's being attacked and all of this stuff. Yeah.
You know that he got jumped in a bar one night for running his fucking mouth. And he took a bunch of pictures of him and he was like, we're good. Because he sent those fucking pictures to every single person he scammed.
Yeah, and the romantic pictures too, the I love you pictures and all that.
You know, he's sitting right next to Peter on that fucking plane, like, okay, tell me the next one's name. I miss you so much, baby, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what's the next one's name? Oh, I miss you so much, baby, blah, blah, blah. You know, so, I mean, obviously Peter's in on it, number one.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, his wife.
He's directly benefiting from the whole situation.
Yeah.
So at this point, Cecilia is out of the institution, I guess, because she starts researching and questioning everyone she's ever met through him. And she, in her process of researching, she finds an Israeli that in Israel, he defrauded 3 Finnish women.
Right.
And
wait a minute.
Yes.
Can we talk about how she calls American Express and they're like, hold on a minute, we'll be right over.
Yeah, what the fuck was that about?
What the fuck kind of CIA of the credit reporting agencies is that?
That just one good employee at American Express was like, I got you, babe. I got you. We're already onto this motherfucker. But the fuck?
And they sent what, 2-3 guys over to sit down and talk about him?
I think that was the part that was confusing for me because they were like, oh, the police weren't involved. And I was like, wasn't that like the police or Interpol or the FBI or something? Like, were those guys?
I think they were investigators for American Express. Is how it came
Get the
across
fuck
at some
out of
moment.
here. Oh,
For like
wow.
their
Well,
fraud division.
Yeah, so
Really?
so Danny used to do that kind of stuff in her bank, and she actually caught a whole ring of people with cards in
Oh,
Louisiana,
scandalo.
and they actually arrested them within hours of her phone call to the hotel. Yeah, so it was like crazy. Yeah.
And you know what reward she got for that? A pat on the fucking back.
Oh, no. She got a plastic little badge that said, like, made her like sheriff or guard or some bullshit like that. That's all she got.
What, like a star? Did she get
Like
some
a
fucking
star or some shit like that.
a deputy? You're the honorary deputy of the bank. Great job.
That's what she got.
You're like, thanks for my fucking deputy Dewey boy badge.
This is for real. They actually did that.
The right thing to do for her would have been to contact those credit people and be like, yo, we're on to you. I can make this disappear for a small price.
I mean, for real.
Step your criminal game up.
Yeah. But yeah, those American Express people were not playing around. They showed up at Cecile. They gave her information. Then she talked to them. She got more input. And she started learning that he definitely wasn't the man she thought he was.
Right.
And she's like, this can't end here. He actually did jail in Israel, I believe, for a couple months.
In Finland.
In Finland, because I didn't write those details down.
Yeah, where he defrauded those 3 women in Finland. He spent some time in jail, but like not that much as far as I could tell.
Yeah. And so she decided she's gonna call the reporters, and they are the ones to really get involved and start researching and traveling and researching and digging into all of it.
Honestly, like, that is kind of the best, if you can't get the cops in, which I don't know why they didn't get the police involved, because it seemed like she had a plethora of evidence. But
in those countries, that they kept telling her that those were the least of their problems. You know what I mean? Those kinds of.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Also, the police kept saying no, because you signed off on a lot of the stuff.
Right,
so
right.
You signed off on it, then you called back and you insisted that it was okay.
Right. Yeah.
So you screwed yourself by basically signing off and amen and everything. Cecilia specifically,
like, really, you're like, yeah, I mean, that one's kind of on you, broad. Like, sorry about it.
Mm-hmm. So hence the reason why she contacted those reporters. And what was the name of the reporters in the sense of the reporter, the agency?
It was like
DVN. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So they started doing the research, and they end up going all the way to Israel and finding his mother.
Notre Dame.
Horrible woman that you are. She was mean, but the mom was mean, but the mom was like, I am over his shit.
She's like, I ain't got nothing to do with that motherfucker. He ain't with us.
Don't come after me for no money.
He don't roll with us.
You see this place I live at? Obviously, I ain't got shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So how about when he tells Pernilla, I got this watch for you. Come and get it.
Motherfucker.
I'm like, can't you just ship it? What the fuck?
Yeah, really. And also, she knows at this point, like, that he's what he's done, which is very scary.
Because at this point, Cecilia has sent the reporters all the evidence, from the text messages to the voicemails to the emails to all the bills. So they actually tracked down every person's name that was flying, because everything was there. Right. Cecilia just literally had to open her eyes and see all the people that were traveling with him and everything that he was paying. She didn't even look at those bills. She was just like, I'm blind. I can't see nothing. She chose not to see it.
Right? She could see that on all her credit card statements.
Online tracking. I mean,
I think like the thing that sort of would have been a super huge red flag to me is him being like, send me your passport information. Like, simply no. Like, I mean, I don't know that I would send that to anyone except like a travel agent or something. Like why would you ever need that information? Like, I don't know. That part of it was like, to me, where I would be like, something's wrong here.
Right. Insane.
But yeah.
So now
I wonder if that skinny little model that he was dating gave him anything. She
Hard
didn't
to
look
say. Hard to say, because she seemed really young.
Yeah.
Oh, she gave him something, but it probably wasn't any money. So that's why he had to get all the other women. That's why he got all the other women to pay for that bitch's shit. So
here's another thing. I have a bone to pick. Wasn't anybody checking IDs? Like, every time he uses somebody else's credit, wasn't anybody saying, hey, wait a minute, could this be a stolen credit card? Like,
yeah. Well, somebody does. The third girl does.
No. I'm talking about like the places of business.
Oh, the bars and stuff. Yeah.
The credit. So that was one of the things that Danny turned to me and she's like, all those businesses are technically on the hook for all of that. Because they did not verify that the person that was spending the money was the person that was the owner of the card.
But Celia didn't call the credit card company and call it fraudulent either. She was letting it slide. So
no, she was calling the credit card company and saying she was there and she was doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So she burnt herself there.
What about like when you're in a bar? I mean, like, I've never been. One time I was at a bar where like we had like a private, rented space or whatever, but it was like with a company, where we had like a private waitress that like came and like, or I don't even know, it was a bartender, I guess it was like giving us drinks and all this shit. But like when you're moving on that kind of level where you like pay $2,000 just to get into a restaurant, and then you buy thousands and thousands of dollars of champagne and food and sushi and caviar and all this shit that he's doing, like, is the bar going to be like, can I see your ID about that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine them being like asking Jay-Z for his ID or something,
Hey, was that the time that we celebrated Cindy and Danny getting married?
I didn't go to that.
She was not feeling well.
For that. I got really sick right before their wedding, so I didn't go.
Oh shit! I thought you were there.
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
tragic.
We did spend
I feel like I missed out on a
very
good party that night. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I think we spent. Well, we didn't, but I know the initial bill was like $400 or $500.
Was that at Boogie Nights?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
That was the same place I was at, but not the same bar, not the same time.
Okay.
My boss rented us Boogie Nights out so that we could have a Christmas party there or something.
Yeah, no. So we had a private area, and that private, just to have the private area, and we had a couple full bottles of liquor were included.
Right.
That was like $400 just for that spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, that's my point, is like, you do that, right? Is the facility that you're having this event at or whatever, are they going to be like, can I see your ID, sir? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're like white gloving you the whole time. So it's like, I can't imagine that they're going to try to verify that as long as the card swipes. C'est la vie, right?
It depends. It probably depends. So he asked Pernilla.
Sorry. How about when Pernilla takes and they're undercover and they're like taking pictures and they see the photographer and I'm like, oh shit, we've been made. So when they get in the car, I was like, ooh, action-y.
Oh, we're not getting in the car with these motherfuckers. Hell no.
But just before that, the reporters call her. she had already given him an additional $10,000. She's paying for a bunch of different flights back and forth for him to go to different places because she didn't have cash to actually send him anymore. So she's paying for the flights online. And then he sends her a bank receipt saying that there's $100,000 on its way. And she's all excited that he's paying her back. And then it never clears. And she's like, I need this money. I've got bills to pay. And he says, I want the watch. Then the reporters call, and that whole sting operation that Lydia just talked about, that's where this comes up from.
Right.
And
so he gives her a Rolex, $100,000. Was it a Rolex? I don't know, some fancy watch. Like, it's worth $100,000. You can go pawn it. And she's like, cool, this is great. She had to know that was bullshit, but she does go try to pawn it. And
but he does have very expensive things that are actually authentic. So maybe she's like, oh, okay, maybe I'm off the hook with this one, you know?
Yeah.
Also,
why couldn't he just given her a goddamn watch that was real? Like, come on.
Also, he probably had already pawned it, the real ones, because his monies is not coming in as it was. So you were saying,
right? No, I was just saying so that I was going to move along, but go ahead. You're good.
Yeah. So the reporters are there. They get in the car. Nydia, you were excited about that part.
I was like, oh my God. It was like, vroom, vroom. And she's like, oh my God, I'm not going to get out of this. And she's like, let me out of the car. So he lets her out. And she was like, I never opened that door. I never opened a door so fast in my life.
I can't believe she got in the car with him. How scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they cut and they show all the victims he had all over the place. He was even a babysitter for some people. I was like, what? Where's the connection?
Right. And so that was like, apparently he, when he was still in Israel and he was younger, like 20 or something, and he stole their checkbook or whatever and wrote himself a bunch of checks. Go ahead.
I thought that was in PA. That was apparently there was a moment that he was in PA and he was somebody's nanny.
I could be mixing them up. Yeah.
Insane.
Totally crazy.
So what else did I write? Hold on. The last girl. Yeah. She was like, honey.
But wait, imagine this bitch on a flight and you see your boyfriend. Oh, why is my boyfriend on Tinder or on Twitter? Why is he trending on Twitter? And then she's like, probably because of his diamonds. And then she's like, all of this because the story comes out.
Wait, you froze.
You totally froze. Why was he on Twitter and then froze?
So she finds out that he's
trending.
He's trending on Twitter, and she thinks, oh, it's probably because of the diamonds. It's probably because he's a diamond, whatever. And then she finds out he's the Tinder swindler, and you're just like, she had to fucking shit her pants right there in the airport. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she's already had given him money at this point. She's like mid grift. She's like mid grift. She's like, fuck.
It was perfect because they had been talking on the phone and then she had to switch it to airplane mode. So she knew that she's going to read the whole article while she's on this flight. And then the moment she gets off, he's going to start blowing up her phone. I was like, yes.
And the thing is, she was with him, if I'm correct, 14 months. So it wasn't like a 2-month situation like Cecilia or Pernilla. This was a 14-month grift. And she really thought that this was it. And she's reading that article on that plane and matching some of the text messages and everything from what she got and what they were getting and matching the dates of the stories that he was giving her. And she is like, this guy was not only stealing from me, but was also had the nerve to cheat on me, which was like, okay, he cheated on you. I mean, come on now, but he took your money, bitch.
but he was sending the same shit to everybody, like the same exact shit.
That's the thing. That's the thing that's like, I bet that hurt them. The money, of course, like that hurts, but to be like, damn, and I wasn't even special. Like,
Mhm.
like everything you said to me, because that's what love bombing is, right? Love bombing is like it's so much and it's so fast and it's so like, and then to like have that like yanked out from underneath you and like to literally have the receipts of it, everything he sent to you in within the same timestamp sent to somebody else that he just literally copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. It's got to be so fucking painful. It's got to be so like, damn, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, but she
That's
was
tough.
smart. She was smart.
Uh,
Not,
So
I got
not
an
so
idea.
smart where
I
she
got
was
an
able to
idea.
get, not so smart where she was able to get all her money back, but smart enough. I mean, because she loaned him over $100,000, but
mhm.
but smart enough in the sense that she really fucking stuck it to him and then kept talking to him like, oh,
Yeah.
you're so dramatic. And, and I was like, yeah.
So go ahead.
So I was just gonna go. Her name was Eileen, and she finds out that he's wanted in 7 different countries.
Oh,
And he starts asking her and begging her for all this money again to get out. Don't believe the stories.
sell
They're
your
just
car.
jealous bitches.
Yeah, but sell your house, ask your parents. Bitch, are you crazy? Are you
Mhm.
fucking crazy?
You're just
Get the fuck outta here.
solidifying what I just read. Are you
Right.
insane?
Right.
And then he goes and he sends her. She's like, okay, I got you. I got you. I believe everything you say.
I love
Everything.
you.
I love you. Fuck them bitches. I got you. I can't stand a jealous bitch. Send me everything you
I even
need,
called them
whatever
bitches.
you need. I'll help you out. She finds out his name is about to be David Sharon because he sends her the American Express card. She meets up with him because she's like, I don't have any money, but the stuff you have is worth tons of money. You know, I'm in the business. I can sell all of this for you. Let me collect all of that. She packed up 3 suitcases worth of his name brand, not just name brand, high-end brand stuff. Took all the best shit with her and was like, I got this covered. Bye-bye. Yes.
She sold some of that stuff for real cheap too. I was like,
Oh yeah.
what? You could have
Oh
gotten
yeah.
3 times that amount.
Mhm.
Also, I think part of it had to have been just principle.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
But he
Yeah.
kept asking her, he's like, I need that money. I need it. I need it. And he would threaten her. And then the next day he'd be like, honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I really need that money. And like, it would go back and forth. It was so fucking funny.
We love when people show you their very true, their deepest, most authentic colors. You're just like the way he was screaming at her, and you're just like, it's the fucking Matrix dodging these motherfucking bullets. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
One of the things I found interesting, because I forgot to mention it, was that she met up with him at a plastic surgeon's office. And the plastic surgeon denied him the work because he's like, only criminals want this much work.
Yep. And she already knew. She's like, oh, criminal motherfucker.
Yeah, but she said that how pathetic he was because he was crying because of it. She was just like,
and so as she's selling his shit, telling him, oh, I'm not selling it. I wrote down, oh, he's big mad, and he's
you know he was stomping around the fucking house, like flipping the fuck out.
Not in the house, he was in a hostel.
The hostel pictures. He's like, one star. And she's like, oh, you drama queen.
Question, who paid for that cell phone bill? I mean, I'm just saying, you always had that phone going.
Always had that phone on.
That phone was going.
He was
cut off.
He was going from king to homeless prince or something like that.
Oh my God.
So desperate that he wanted her to buy him a lottery ticket. She started laughing at that moment. She's like, how pathetic. It crazy. It was amazing. Amazing. So she found out he was traveling to Prague. And, oh, Prague? Really? And they picked his ass up in Prague because she called the cops on.
And she gave him that fake name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She remembered that whole name. And they picked his ass up.
But it was only on fake passport, which I didn't know a fake passport would only get you certain, 5 months in jail. Like that's nothing.
Yeah. Well, he got 15, I think, but he got out in 5. And I
Right.
think my understanding is because of COVID, and they didn't want to have him in there too long because he's a non-violent criminal, whatever. See you later.
Wow.
So as the stories blow up and people are coming back saying, he swindled me out of this, he swindled me out of that, he got me for this, he got me for that. So he was just swindling anyone. It wasn't even just women. It was just anyone he could con out of money. And they say he's probably taken people for $10 million worth of fraud.
Crazy.
And I am like, what the ever-loving fuck?
He's living the
How
life.
can I not? Why can't I be brilliant enough to swindle somebody out of at least $1 million? I just want to pay a home, a basic bitch home, and not have any debt. That's all I want.
A milk can cover that.
Swindle anybody out of a lot of money. I just want just that. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
I think that's fair, Cindy.
Right?
I think it's fine. I think it's fair.
Also, why didn't he go for older women that would like want a boy toy? You know what I mean? And that were good for it financially.
It's so mean though. Like it's so mean spirited to like go after women that just like want to find love. Like it's so mean spirited, I don't know. Like
and also wouldn't it have been a little easier and better on everybody if he would have just taken, like not completely broken the person down. Well, it would have been less illegal. You know what I'm saying? Where like you take $30,000-$40,000 from somebody because they willingly handed it over to you and you just provide and you just do that repeatedly, other than he wanted women to like be completely ruined, like sell your house, sell your car, steal from your parents, whatever it needs. And like he wouldn't stop dealing with them women until they were completely exhausted,
totally tapped. Yeah.
And he could have just done it in smaller amounts, more prolific, because he was.
But really he couldn't, because like he would have one woman fund a whole week. Cecilia funded his whole summer. In a matter of 2 months or whatever you're saying, 2 or 3 months. And it's like, she funded that whole summer.
Also, $250,000 in a summer. Like what the ever loving fuck?
Oh yeah. I mean,
but he could have invested. He could have bought property. He could have, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like the whole, everything was just blown.
Gone.
Did you know that the 3 women from this documentary have started a GoFundMe to collect to help reimburse them the money that they lost?
Also,
are they doing with that?
Sadly,
they're not doing bad. Actually, they want $600,000. They got $166,000.
Also, it just feels like no. Sadly, no. I feel like they're trying to defraud somebody, and probably not. Obviously, maybe not. But that's
I didn't read the whole thing, but I'm like, no. I get it. Maybe why don't you have Netflix pay you for your documentary?
I mean, right?
They're also
isn't that a novel idea?
Also, they're doing interviews everywhere. So yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
But they're still supposedly paying debt.
That should be a victims fund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some places do have victim funds.
Yeah.
So they're still paying their debts, supposedly.
He's still on Tinder.
He's still on Tinder. He's dating a model. He's got a business that's and he's flourishing.
Yeah, what the fuck?
How to scam your next door neighbor. I don't know. What's he like selling? What tips is he selling? How about when he told Eileen, I can teach you how to lie?
Oh my God.
Like he's trying to pull her into the business.
How do you even like continue to like be nice to him?
Oh, wait. The mom of the baby was one of the victims.
Yes, yes. Yes.
What? Why didn't they talk about that?
She wouldn't talk. Go ahead, Cindy.
Yes.
That's what I was just about to say, that they, Cecilia's looking at these pictures of the women that he went to jail for in Finland, I guess. And she's the one. And I'm like, what? And then she's telling her, just bringing him up. So obviously she was working for him, kind of like he was trying to make Eileen work for him.
Right. Yeah.
Insane.
She was probably trying to recoup some of her loss, honestly.
Maybe, yeah. Plus she has a kid with him, so like that's a little problematic.
Yeah.
Poor
kid.
Oh. Yeah, that was fucking tragic. That was crazy. I was like, I don't like this documentary at all.
I was like,
I texted y'all. What did I say? Oh, you guys are gonna be cussing this documentary out when I finished it.
I'm jaded. I have pride and prejudice against rich people. I don't know, but I would love to be a rich person.
I mean, even like on that scale, like it doesn't even need to be on that scale.
Oh, now that's uncomfortable.
But like,
I don't want to be on that scale. I have no desire to be on that scale.
Right.
I already said what I want. I just don't want debt and a home. That's it.
Yeah, I want flexibility. I want freedom.
Freedom.
Yes.
Freedom.
Yes.
Well, we've done it again, folks.
Yes. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell you all my story today.
All right, well, hurry up and get over here.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for dining with us. See you next month.